Hello there everyone, and welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about how to both play and build Hera, the newest goddess to come out in Smite. So let's start today by talking about what are Hera's abilities and what do they do. Hera's first ability is called a push and smack, basically. So what she does is she has a cone in front of her and then a rectangle that moves. So the rectangle is what does the damage. The cone simply pushes minions, not gods, to the rectangle to be smacked. So this is really good for lane clear, and it has really interesting interactions with like Cupid's Heart Bomb and Circuit Poison because you can literally throw those minions into enemy gods. Now, Hera's second ability is just a line attack, but the thing about this projectile is that any god that is hit by this ability is both silenced and disarmed, or as they call it in Smite, polymorphed, I believe, but basically it acts as both a silence and a disarm. Now, as for Hera's third ability, you get a shield. That's really it. It's a shield. It takes damage. Now, for her ultimate, Hera calls down Argus, and on landing, Argus will knock people up, but then you basically get a pet for 40 seconds that has a health bar, blah, blah, blah. What the only interesting interaction with this is if you do pop your shield while Argus is out, Argus is going to gain Mystical Mail passive for some reason, and then he does ticking damage to everything that's around him. The final note that I'll make about Hera's abilities is that they have an incredibly long startup animation. So these abilities are going to take a long time before they actually fire. And as such, you are going to need a lot of setup or really hard reads in order to land these abilities. So now that we've talked about the abilities, let's talk about Hera's playstyle. And Hera is, in my opinion, a burst mage. I have tried Hera in mid, solo, and support, and there are pros and cons to each of those things, but in my humble opinion, Hera is going to be a burst mage. She does not have enough hard crowd control to be a good support, and she does not have enough self-sustain to be viable in solo. Hera's biggest weakness is the fact that all you have to do to kill her is walk at her. And as such, her playstyle is going to be the hide and pray. She is going to hide behind your entire team and hope to God that no one just runs at her. Characters like Chalk, Bologna, any warrior can just run at you, and it's for free. Even if you have Argus up, that little hop that the knockup makes you do is not going to deter a tanky Chalk from chopping your head off. Now that being said, if you can play safe, Hera is going to be a really good burst mage for you. Now, how can we build Hera so that she can do a lot of damage while still playing safe enough? So as such, here is the build that I have been using. I personally think it works great. It is the one build that I have found consistent success with on Hera. So let's talk about it real quick. To start out the game, we are going to be rushing our Bancroft's Talon. What this item does is it gives you some lifesteal, which will help you stay in lane longer, as well as gives you a lot of power. And power is important. I will say that I have experimented with, say, rushing a stacking item like Warlock Sash or Book of Thoth, and they just don't work. They take way too long to come online. This Bancroft start gives Hera some early pressure that she is desperately going to need to cling to if she wants to make it through early game. Moving right along, your second item is going to be your boots. The type of boot that you want is directly linked to how tanky the other team is. If they have tanks, then you want to build pen boots. Otherwise, the cooldown boots are great. Now for your third item slot, there's really nothing that Hera desperately needs in this slot, and as such we're going to set her up for more success later by picking up Shaman's Ring. If you get your Shaman's Ring stacks done early, you're going to be doing a lot of damage, plus the 10% extra damage that Shaman Ring does give is going to act like penetration in this build. Now to finish up the core of the build, you're going to build Chronos Pendant because the 20% CDR plus Chronos Pendant passive is just great on Hera. It really lets her spam her abilities. Now, in the last two items of the build, it's usually where you want to say, try to hide the weaknesses of the character that you're playing. And as I mentioned earlier, Hera's biggest weakness is that if you take one step out of position, you just kind of die because they just run at you. As such, we are going to build Book of the Dead. Book of the Dead is going to help us survive the game. That way, we have a little bit more breathing room for our team to bail us out if we get rushed down by the warrior and assassin. Now for the final item in this build, you're going to pick up Soul Reaver because another weakness that Hera has is she can't directly 100 to 0 you like say Janice or Agni can. However, she can easily spam abilities and poke. As such, Soul Reaver is a really good pickup. Just some final notes about build options. Just so you guys know, Argus does not proc any items at all. So Polynomicon, Your Gem of Isolation doesn't work with Argus's aura, so not the greatest item. It does have some applications, but it's just not great. Argus is just a meat shield with a knockup when you cast him. I do imagine in the future that this is going to change and Argus is going to be allowed to proc those items. So if it does, Gem of Isolation is going to be sick. But for the time being, since it doesn't, it's not great. The final thing I'm going to talk about in today's video is how to level Hera's abilities, and this has been something that I have been messing with a lot. So you always want to max out your first ability first, so the push and smack. That's just your clear, it's a great move, it does damage. Now, you always also want to upgrade your ultimate as you can because it makes Argus tankier and harder to kill. In between, you have some flexibility. If you're greedy and far ahead and want to continue to make the opponent suffer, then you can upgrade your 2 after you're done maxing your 1. If you're getting consistently ganked and rushed down and you're looking for more survivability, then upgrade your 3 before your 2. It really depends on what the opponent is doing to you. You aren't losing too much by going into your 3 before your 2. The only thing you're missing out on is a little bit of polymorph time, but that's going to come on late game anyway. Anyway, that's my opinion on it. Anyways, that's all the time that I have for this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more stuff from me in the future, hit my face in the bottom left to make sure you subscribe and keep up to date with me. If you want to watch more stuff from me right now, I have quite a bit to choose from, but I'm going to put 2 videos on the screen right now for you to choose from. Anyway guys, this is Keltick, signing off. Have yourselves a casual day.